Saturday night, 13th of May. 5 more days before the new moon. Wasn't sure the sky was gonna permit observing tonight. Can't see it, but Arcturus is up there. Plan for tonight is to push the limits. Go for broke. I brought out a pillow to sit on so I don't rock the observatory floor as much. We're going to go 256 flood, 42 auto gain control sensitivity. Right now I've just done a synchronization. And here, as I push up the sensitivity a little bit after doing the stars synchronization, hopefully we're going to see something. M3 somewhere in the field of view. There it is. It's not quite centered, but there's our look. This, of course, is well before sky dark. 16 flood. We're gonna synchronize to it, then go after a few things. 64 flood. Probably the best view. Aesthetically, is it about 4 flood for this sub 6, I think it's about a 6 magnitude globular cluster. As I settle in, I'm going to synchronize up and we'll center on our first study for the evening. It is kind of nice though. Look at the cluster. Nicely resolved stars. Thickening to the center with background light. Aesthetically quite nice at 4 flood. 4 flood is probably about a 3-inch equivalent view. And given the fact the sky is still visibly blue, hey, that would be a nice view through a 75mm refractor. Yes, indeed. Moving on. Here's a little technical comparo. I just redid a 3-star alignment using Denomola, Spica, and Arcturus. And now M3 is within, let's say, 4 arc minutes of the center of the screen. Good start. Okay, just did an equatorial flip with the old model parameters to the west. Mounts are bicameral after all. He's split into east-west hemispheres. And this is Zosma right up here. It's off a little bit. I will go ahead and synchronize to Zosma and see how it plays out with some other bright stars. Okay, here's a quick baseline of my pillow method. I'm shifting my weight a little bit. Let's see what happens to the stars. Left, right, left, right, left, right. I'm not seeing the stars go comatose, but it's not definitive. There you see M65 right there at 256 flood, 42 decibels. We're going to go all out. This should be a 22, 16 and a half. It's 24-inch equivalent at this setting, 256, 42 decibel. And we're going to go after some of the beauties that were NGCs that I've captured over the last couple of nights out. Actually, the pillow method may be working quite well, but it has to be more fully tested. Out to see if we can detect that Barnard galaxy of spring sky, NGC 3109. I'm really having to raise my arm up. I'm sweeping the screen. Couldn't tell you whether we're seeing her or not. We're not quite sky dark. We'll just use this as a check tomorrow when I have a chance to look at the video. So there's the look. And if we're seeing it under these conditions, over magnified, 75x, really you should be observing this more along the lines of 30, 35x. I'm seeing it. It's a little right of center, distended. It should be a long, fat cigar-shaped galaxy. And I don't think it's going to last long because it's going to go behind the roof of the garage. But I would venture to say that we are seeing its middle third. And if the sky were darker and it was culminating, I bet you we'd get a pretty solid look of it, some 20 arc minutes in length diameter. That's from memory. I can't confirm it. There we go. And you see 3109. Okay, NGC 3344 Leo Minor. Let's watch the image form on the screen. Once again, I am sitting on a pillow. I'm hoping that it'll transmit less of my bodily movements to the mount and scope through the tripod. And the best way to tell is just look at the stars. If they start getting comatose on us, what I'm seeing right now is the stars haven't fully formed yet. Galaxy, however, I believe is very close to the center of the screen. We're not into sky dark yet. We're running full steam ahead at 256 flood, 42 auto gain control. Stars are looking pretty good to me. You can see a spiral galaxy taking form right in the center of the field of view, so my efforts to do a 3-star alignment to the west seem to have paid off. I'm going to take this as a good sign. The stars look halfway decent. The sitting on a pillow manages not to shift the floor nearly as much as I weight shift in extending the camera towards the screen. Let's give this galaxy a break until it gets a little darker, and then we will catch it once again in the camera before moving on to our next trail of NGC galaxy wonders. Well, I'm just about to beg off on this one. There may be some high, thin atmospheric water in the direction of NGC 3344. I have seen better views. I've been fooling around with the controls on the display panel to see if I can give it a little more enhanced presentation just visually on the monitor. That was about the only time I saw any deflection in the stars, is when I started pushing buttons on the monitor or on the imager unit, the CCD imager back. That I made sure had IR optimization on, because that has a huge impact on nebulae and galaxies, and also made sure it had motion detect on, and both those things were instanced. So there's our look at NGC 3344. We're going to stick with NGCs tonight, the ones that gave the nicest presentation. No elliptical galaxies, since unfortunately, unlike globular clusters, they don't resolve any stars, so they fundamentally look like big radiant balls of light that blend off into the distance. So aesthetically, they're not as interesting. However, they are of interest to astronomers, since they are such mature galaxies in terms of star formation. Anyway, let's move on. Here we have NGC 35, I believe it's 21, let me confirm that. Yep, it's a galaxy, of course. Spiral looks in Leo. As I sit here, it's starting to come together. It's showing some spiral tendencies plus lanes, dark lanes, especially up towards what I would describe as the 11 o'clock position, plus some sharp curtailing, which are probably delineated by lanes to what I would call the 8 o'clock position of the galaxy. Once again, the big test for tonight unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we have the best atmospheric conditions. Oh, I'm seeing another lane emerge. Is the fact that the stars remain round even as I shift my weight around on the seated pillow that I'm using to absorb some of the shock from my weight shifts. Yeah, this one's starting to come out pretty nicely. Very nice. A 24-inch virtual view of NGC 3521. Probably not under the best of conditions for the sky. We are in sky dark, but I would say stars no fainter than magnitude 4.5 are probably visible at this time. But a good look. Oh yeah. Some structure obviously evident in this view. Very present. Now we're seeing NGC 3628, a member of the Leo trio. Very large edge-on galaxy, about the size of M31 at the same distance, about 150,000 light years. View is very nice, a little more diffuse than I would expect, but given the seeing conditions, I'll have to compare this to some of the views at the 128 flood to get a better sense. I'd like it to be a bit more stark, but I might be able to attribute that to sky conditions right now. Anyway, there's our look at 256 flood, a virtual 6-inch telescope grown 4 times over to 24 inches in aperture, based on 16 seconds. 18 seconds of exposure time. 3 seconds times 6 is 18, as I learned in elementary school. And the view is pretty sharp. NGC 36. Okay, here we have NGC 4216 in Virgo. What I'm seeing is a fairly condensed N2 region up in this region of the galaxy. H2 star-forming region, similar to our own Great Nebula in Orion, probably more massive and larger. That's a pretty fine view right there. I have to inspect it a little bit more later on to see if we can make out some sharp dark lanes. If so, the lanes are on the bottom of the galaxy, it would appear. So towards the bottom of the screen, maybe towards the 7 o'clock direction. Fairly bright view with some texture in it and variations in luminosity across the spiral extensions moving towards from the 1 to the 7 o'clock position. Outstanding edge-on spiral galaxy, probably of the very close to the spiral O class, which is basically a large flat vinyl record album. On edge in this case. Another nice spiral. This one's a little larger and more oblately presented. NGC 4429 in Virgo. I'll sweep it a little bit so you can make out some detail, but let's see, if I rotate the camera this way, there's a look, very Saturnine. And here's the look in the normal camera angle to show you. Stars look pretty rotund, no comatose aspect to them. Sitting on the pillow either psychologically has improved the situation or has practically improved it. Yep. But that's a good view. Of NGC 4420. 8? Interesting. I thought I had plugged in 8. I have 9 on my list. Let me look on the handset so I can confirm that for you. There's 4429. That was on my list. There's our look. I wonder how close I can get with this camera, by the way. Nice experiment. Seemed to maintain focus. It's just the pixels started coming out. There we go. Here we have NGC 4449 in north of Virgo and Canis Venatici. Lots of texture in this galaxy. Looks kind of irregular. It does offer up some interesting detail for the eye. If it is irregular, it's probably not very distant. I would definitely say that all the galaxies have been brighter tonight in terms of apparent brightness due to the increased exposure times. I can't be sure if we're seeing much more in the way of detail. That'll require some comparisons with the 12 and 16-inch settings that I've used recently. And you see? 4449. If you add 1 to 4449, you get 4450. Let's watch as this one begins to assemble on the screen and the ghost of 4449 disappears. As mentioned earlier, there's 6 stacks of about 3 seconds each, or 18 seconds to assemble an image. It seems to me it's taking a little longer than that for the image to finally stabilize. Maybe the motion sensor is delaying the operation while it goes and figures out which pixels go where in terms of the image. Here's our view of 4450, and I do believe it's fully formed. I'm not seeing much in the way of deformation this evening while I sit on this nice comfy pillow that Vanessa bought for my butt for when I work in the office. Adios, Galacticos. Here we go with NGC 4526, kind of an oblate galaxy. Largest core, twinish looking spiral extensions going off to the 1 and 7 o'clock positions. I've been shifting around a little bit in here, and after we get a nice look at this thing, I will do a few body shifts to see if it distorts the image very much. And as you can tell, I'm now shifting with the camera left and right. I suppose the definitive test would be to remove the pillow, but I'm not inclined to do that right now. Yep, one day I'll try to get Bluetooth monitor that gives a nice flat image. Fix it in one position so I no longer have to image from the scope OTA itself. Just settle on in, probably outside the bounds of the observatory deck. Press buttons and watch what pops up. I can dream, can I? Our last NGC for the night, NGC 4762. Very tight, narrow edge on with a dark lane to the 7 o'clock position along the bottom. Nice cigar shape or spindle shaped galaxy is probably a better way to describe it. Nice gradient of luminosity from tip to center, outward again. I'm not seeing much in the way of distortion of the image. I'm going to put my fist down on the deck now and cause a deflection. See what happens. Wow. Doesn't seem to be causing much of a problem at all. Anyway, I'm pretty satisfied with the aesthetics of the stars now, even at this 256 flood setting. And all I can say I've noticed is that everything has gotten brighter. There doesn't appear to be any additional texture or detail added to any of these, going from 16 inches equivalent to 24. But they've certainly gotten more present. Tag and M61.